Hey friends, welcome back. Can't stop, won't stop. I can't put this book down. So we're just going to keep on trucking. We're already on chapter 7. We might as well just keep going, right? Well, we last left Lawn Boy, Pascal, and Louis, and this whole troop of people, Pascal's cousins, and they have now started mowing tons of lawns. So many, in fact, that Lawn Boy now just rides around in a truck as a passenger, checking on jobs and collecting the money. Things are getting really, really big, really, really fast. They have diversified, meaning they're not just mowing lawns anymore. They're cleaning out pools and garages, they're trimming hedges. So they're not just making money in one way. They have expanded and diversified. I think this is going to add to their profit margin, meaning they're going to make more money. They'll have more money to put in their pockets. So let's see what chapter 7 is about. Ooh, this is a good one. Overutilization of labor compounded by unpredicted capital growth. All right, let's talk about those words, what that means. Overutilization. If you utilize something, you use it. If it's utilized, I utilize my legs to walk around. Now, if I've overutilized them, then that means that I have overused my legs. Perhaps if I walked all the way to the ocean and back, I might have overutilized my legs. Or if I walk all the way to the river and back again, I have overutilized my legs, and boy, wouldn't I feel it in my muscles. So, overutilization of labor, and we know it, remember that labor is work, and so we're kind of overusing our workforce, compounded by, that means added on to, unpredicted capital growth, a surprise boost in their money. I can't wait. So overutilization of labor, they overused their workers, added on by unpredicted or unexpected growth in their money. Let's see what this is about. Ooh, weird. It's raining here too. And guess what? The first sentence here says, it was raining. This was the first day all summer it had rained hard enough to stop work. It was now July, and I had ridden my 10-speed, yes, my old one, though I had bought a new inner tube, over to Arnold's house. Arnold had made the hippie tea that was sweet without sugar, and I sipped it while we dragged out the notebooks. I had left all the paperwork at his house because it would have been too hard to explain to my parents. There were now 5 3-ring binders. And in fact, I knew almost nothing about it myself. Like it had all just kind of been a blur. Oh man, it is all just too groovy, Arnold said, putting his tea down. Free market industry and capitalism at their best. It's like watching a really good documentary about business. Far out, man. I don't know what we're doing, I said, like, not a clue. Except that we're cutting a lot of grass and I'm not getting much sleep. And this morning, my mother said she was forgetting what I look like. Yeah, it's lucky we got a rain day. We were in Arnold's screened-in porch and he had spread the notebooks out on a large round picnic table. Gives us a little time for you to catch up and see the beauty of what you're doing. The rain was hammering down, almost deafening, and I found myself liking it. I used to hate rain in the summer because it ruined vacation time. Well, now I thought rain was beautiful. All right, we better start with an overall view of the lawn cutting phase of your operation. Oh, yeah, I thought, let's start with that. Like I knew anything. Like I would have like an operation with phases. Currently, you have 15 employees. I stared at him. That can't be right. He nodded, smiling. Surprising, isn't it? Technically, I guess Pascal is like more of a partner. Well, and really, they're all partners in a way. They share the income from their work with you, the company head. 15? He nodded again. Now, the truth is, they earn their living because you found them work, and that brings up a second consideration of this phase of your operation. 15 people work for me? I wish he would quit talking about like my operation and its phases. It was starting to sound like General Motors or something. Yes, and that should lead you to consider your responsibility as the business head. You owe your employees that consideration. Yeah, well, sure. I mean, if there are 15 people working for me, I should consider them. But I don't know what you mean specifically. Well, think of this. They're seasonal workers. When the cutting is done, they're no longer employed by you. A responsible employer would set aside some of its income, a percentage, to give them a bonus when the season ends to ease their transition into other forms of employment. I should? I mean, yes, like I guess I should. Like how does that work? Well, first, let's look at your personal gross income from lawn cutting, shall we? It's really the only figure that counts for this aspect of your operation. Of course. Aspect, I thought. First phases. Now aspects of my operation. I am 12 years old and I have aspects. Well, for reasons we'll cover later, taxes are going to take a hefty bite, and you have some small expenses, like gas for your mower, oil, that sort of thing. I kept track of those items in this expense notebook. And then there's my fee. Well, I've been taking 5% across the board for this and, the market work, just to simplify things, that rather than to work on a sliding scale, all right? Yes, I thought. Yes, let's, please keep it simple. I mean, I felt like I was drowning in, aspects and phases. Good? I mean, I guess it is, good. Sure, good. So, before taxes, my percentage, and expenses, you grossed out at just over 8. What? $8,000. $8,000? Yeah, I mean, of course, like I said, that's gross. And by the way, if it's gross, it doesn't mean bleh. Gross income means all of the money that you made before you have to pay out taxes or expenses or anything like that. So he's not saying that this income is yucky. He's just saying before you pay out all of your expenses and all your taxes and everything else that you have to, that is called your gross income. Your net income is what you have after you pay all of your taxes, all of your fees, all of your bills. That is your net income. So, back to what Arnold was saying. Yeah, of course, like I said, that's gross, and your net won't be anywhere near that. I think you should perhaps set aside a pretty good chunk for employee relief, perhaps 20%. At this stage, well, naturally, it'll go up as they earn more. They'll appreciate it when the season ends. I had this sudden memory of when I was 9 years old. Back then, I thought that someday I might be a professional basketball player. This in spite of the fact that I'm fairly short and can't make a basket to save my soul. But I thought then, when I was 9, that if I just had the right ball, a true professional ball made by Spalding, I would or could be good enough to be a professional ball player when I grew up. The problem was that the ball was expensive. There was no way my parents could spend that kind of money on one measly basketball, and I couldn't find a way to get enough money on my own. So I wound up with a cheap ball, and I thought, no chance at a professional basketball career. How many basketballs could I buy with $8,000? $8,000! Oh, I was only 3 years older now than I had been then. Yeah, true, it was a big 3 years, but after just 3 years, I could afford all the Spalding basketballs I wanted. I was rich. Rich! Oh, what a strange word that is. Like, it didn't really even mean anything in itself. Like, rich. And it's like short for Richard. And why does rich mean having tons of money? How many Spalding balls could I buy? Like, really, with $8,000? Say they're $20 each to make it simple. Okay. 5 balls for $100. 20, 40, 60, 80, $100. Okay. 5 balls for $100. 50 for $1,000. 400. I could buy 400 Spalding basketballs. What do you mean? I suddenly remembered something Arnold had said. You said something about this being a small amount of money. Is that what you said? I don't think what you're used to having. I don't know what you're used to having, but I can't think of $8,000 as a small amount. Everything, Arnold said, is relative. Taken in the whole scheme of things, $8,000, although significant, is not all that large. If Bill Gates, who owns Microsoft, for instance, could hold all his wealth in his hand and he suddenly just dropped it, just like on its way down to the ground, it would make over $40,000 in interest. Uh-huh. I tried to picture that. Look, like, I understand that I don't have as much money as Bill Gates, but still, I'm like really very satisfied with what I have. I honestly don't know what I would do with like any more money than that. Seriously? Yeah, absolutely. Like, that is like more money than I can even think of having. Like, it wasn't even that long ago I was wondering where to get enough money to buy an inner tube for my 10-speed. Now I could buy a whole new bike. Like, I could buy a bunch of them. Ooh, well then, Arnold shrugged and sighed. We got ourselves a bit of a problem. Eek! Oh my gosh, a problem? Holy smokes. Well, here's a problem. You got a 12-year-old with 15 employees and $8,000 to his name. I'm stunned, and I think Lawn Boy is too. And I'm also curious. What is this problem we have? Can you almost hear it in the background? Dun, dun, dun. I can. Let's not wait any longer. Will you join me on the next chapter? Let's read it now.